Shalom fam, how y'all doing? It's Or Ebri with the Living Word Initiative, author, investor, and consultant. Just coming to you all this evening, actually it's early in the morning. I was just sitting here listening to some jazz, doing some studying, doing some reading. And I came across something that I wanted to share with you all. Oh man, so many of us are so afraid. We're so afraid to basically change. Like, we are afraid to change. We're afraid to grow. We've built a life, a proverbial house. Our life is like this house that we've built. And we're living in it, and then we realize, this house isn't functioning for us anymore. Maybe we've added, some children, proverbial children. We've grown, we've added things to our life. So initially when we built our home, we built it and we built 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, maybe a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Maybe it was just us and a partner, or maybe it was just us and we were thinking about having guests or whatnot. So we didn't build a big house. But then our life started growing and started progressing and started moving up. And pretty soon we got too big for this house. That's how our life is. But this is what we have to realize. It's okay to rebuild. It is okay. It is okay to rebuild. Here's the thing. When you have a foundation, you can rebuild all the time. You can rebuild the home, keep the foundation the same. So whatever your foundation is in your life, whatever your foundation is, you don't dig that up. You keep that the same. As long as your foundation isn't faulty, it doesn't have any cracks in it, it isn't unleveled. As long as your foundation is firm, solid, steady, you can build any type of home on it. Proverbial home. So if your life, you have your foundation, you have your core principles. I talked about having a set of 10 core principles. A lot of us subscribe to biblical commandments, to Quran commandments, to Sanskrit commandments. We subscribe to all these types of things that are given to us religiously, and those are great, those are nice, those are a foundation. You have to have your own core as well to go on top of that. So for instance, with myself, like one of my cores and one of my foundations has always been to help people. So I used to be a sports coach. I used to coach youth basketball, all different ages, from little kids at the rec center all the way up to varsity high school players. Coached all levels in between. That was my core, helping others. Now I have a consultant business. So now I help others. I coach others. Now I'm not coaching people the same way I was when I was coaching sports, but I'm still coaching people. The core did not change. The foundation did not change. The structure on the foundation changed for me. So I went from coaching individuals in sports, making sure that people were trying to be the highest versions of themselves at that sport. So I made sure I pushed them. I made sure I helped them build up endurance. I made sure I helped them, properly perfect their jump shots, properly perfect their defense, properly perfect how to understand the game, how to learn the game, watching film, all of these things. That was to make them the highest versions of themselves as a basketball player. Now I just translated it over to life. So now I'm helping people be the highest versions of themselves in life. So what study techniques are you implementing? What are you doing as far as your consistency, your commitments? What are you honoring? Those things are the same principles that I teach. I just changed the structure of the home. I outgrew my home. Now I went into a bigger home. And eventually I'm going to continue to go into a bigger home, bigger proverbial home. So you have to do the same thing. So and the wonderful thing about knowing what your foundation and your core is you could go anywhere you want in the world. And you don't have to limit yourself or box yourself in. You don't have to not take in a piece of information because you think it goes again. No, when you know what your core is, you can learn, take in, understand anything that agrees with your foundation, no matter what part of the world it's in. You could go to the depths of Cambodia, the jungles in Cambodia. If they have philosophies that match your philosophies, it don't matter how they present it. If it's the same, then you can go with it. If it's the same, you can go with it. And that's what we have to understand. We have to stop limiting ourselves. That's why it's great to know what your foundation is, so you can consistently rebuild homes on that foundation. So, and if you properly know what it is that you're going into, then you won't be misled. You won't mislabel things. You won't think things are one thing and they're really not. You won't label things wicked and evil that are exactly what you're doing. It just looks differently or it's just labeled differently. You won't do these things. You won't. You will have a more open mind to take in those things that agree with what's on your foundation, and then you can add it to your home. You can widen your home, your proverbial home, which is your life. So I just want to make sure we all understand, know your foundation, know what your foundation is, and if it's time for you to rebuild your proverbial home, aka your life, it's okay. Tear it all down, build up a new home that better matches what your living circumstance is. Don't continue to stay in that one bedroom, one bathroom. Don't continue to stay on that one block. Don't continue to stay in that one mindset because you think I can't grow. I have to stay here. No, you have to stay on those principles, but you don't have to stay in that home. You can elevate, you can grow, and don't let anyone tell you that you cannot. You can continue to move up. And you can continue to rebuild. And guess what? You are the only one that is responsible for that life. You can't live a life that someone else feels you should live because they're not, A, y'all don't have the same creative purpose. B, they aren't you. So if they are not you, yes, you could take advice, but everything you need is already in you. Everything you need is already in you. You just have to go deep enough inside to pull it out to see, okay, what do I need to add to my home? What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Where do I need to be? What limits do I need to take off of myself? What thought process do I need to implement within myself so that way I can rebuild this structural home of mine, aka my life, to be most equipped for what it is that I'm trying to do. I got my foundation. I realized, man, I'm on a beach. I need to tear the house down, rebuild the house, and put windows on the part of the house that faces the water. Maybe you didn't have windows then, but now you do. Now you want windows. Whatever it is you want your life to be, you are the author of it. You are. You can draw and erase nothing. Very little things are in pen. Most things in life are in pencil, and we can etch them in. Now, sometimes we trace over some things with pen, and it can't be erased. But there's even some erasable ink. So some things that may seem permanent, they may not even be permanent. So it's very important that you get in line with what it is that you want to do. Understand what your foundation is. Build on your foundation. If you have a weak foundation, rebuild your foundation. If you were never given a foundation, lay your concrete, pour your concrete, make your foundation. Make sure it's even, make sure it's level, make sure it's firm, make sure it has no cracks in it, make sure that it's not leaning, make sure that it's not on the hill, make sure it's all level, and then build your house up on that. So with that, I say you all have a beautiful day. This is Or Eber with the Living Word Initiative. Shalom and good night.